Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to learn A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. A Thing of Beauty is an extract from his poem Endymion, a poetic romance. The poem is based on a Greek legend in which Endymion, a beautiful young shepherd and poet who lived on Mount Latmus, had a vision of Cynthia, the moon goddess. The enchanted youth resolved to seek her out and so wandered away through the forest and down under the sea. So, Keats was a romantic poet. Romantic poets were nature lovers. They loved to write about nature. The poem, A Thing of Beauty, is also about nature. The lines are the opening lines of Endymion, a poetic romance. In this poem, A Thing of Beauty, what the poet Keats tries to say is the transferring power of beauty. Beauty is a magical drink that has the ability to transfer lives, thoughts, and health. Okay, he says about two types of beauty, that is inner beauty and outer beauty. In the lesson, the portrait of a lady, we can see the inner beauty of a grandmother. And do you remember the lesson Wordsworth's Daffodils? There we can relate that poem with the A Thing of Beauty very well. Okay, let's go to the lines first. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness, but will keep a bar quiet for us, and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. A thing of beauty. A thing of beauty means a beautiful thing. Anything can be a beautiful thing. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So one can see beauty in anything. Beauty, a thing of beauty. When we watch a beautiful thing, it gives us pleasure. So we keep that memory in a separate place in our mind. So it stays in our mind forever. Its loveliness increases with the passage of time. It never decreases. Means the beauty can never vanish, nor can it ever diminish. For example, when you look into a childhood photograph dancing with your friends, that photograph will take you back to those beautiful childhood memories. So, a thing of beauty is just like a bower. Bower means shelter. The beautiful memories are just like a cool, shady place under a tree in a hot day. Means beautiful things leave an indelible print on our mind. We can recall it whenever we wish. So it's a joy for ever. Okay, I move to the next line. Therefore, on every morrow are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth. Spite of despondence, of the inhuman death of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and overdarkened ways made for our searching. Yes, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. In these lines, the poet says about the things in life which cause suffering and pain. What are those things? They are despondence. Despondence means depression. Inhuman death of noble natures. Death means lack. Noble natures. Noble natures means qualities, noble qualities, positive qualities. Lack of positive qualities. Then lack of positive qualities, according to the poet, human beings hold negative qualities most of the time, like greed, hatred, negativity. Our temptations to materialistic things in the world make us selfish and self-centered. So the lack of positive qualities. Then another thing is gloomy days, our gloomy days. Then our diseases and illnesses, and over-darkened ways. Over-darkened ways means we cannot expect all things that come in our way to be positive. Therefore, on every morrow, morrow means morning or next day. Therefore, every morning we are making a flowery band to bind us to the earth. The meaning is we are connecting ourselves with the Mother Earth. Flowers are so gentle and peace. Our fascination for flowers is our bonding to the earth. Means it is the beauty of the nature that keeps us attached to this earth. So even though we have things which cause suffering and pain, the beautiful things in the nature means and those sweet memories help us to remove or erase the sadness from our spirit, the pain or the suffering from our spirit. Paul means weakness or defect. Okay, let's go to the next lines. Such the sun, the moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep, and such are daffodils with the green world they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. Okay, in these lines, the poet says about the things which give us happiness. They are the sun which provides energy, the beautiful moon, old and young trees. Do you remember my mother at 66? Kamala Das watching the trees and married children through the window of the car. For a moment, she was able to forget her worries. So trees are the beautiful things, and then trees give shade to both man and beast. Then the other beautiful things are the pretty flowers like daffodils. These daffodils enhance the liveliness and greenery of the world. Then rills means streams. Streams of water provides a refreshment and cooling effect to us in the hot summer season. So these things give us happiness. These are the beautiful things in the nature. And let's go to the other lines, and there also we can see the beautiful things of nature. Listen. The mid-forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms, and such too is the grandeur of the domes we have imagined for the mighty dead. O lovely tales that we have heard or read, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from the heavens brink. So we can see other beautiful things, that is mid-forest brake. Mid-forest brake means small green plants, greenery of nature. Fair musk rose. Musk rose flowers are a beautiful sight, and eyes feel the delight due to them. Then grandeur of the domes we have imagined for the mighty dead. Domes means last day. Mighty dead means brave soldiers or the tragic heroes from the greatest playwrights. They have they have sacrificed their lives in order to protect others. So even though they had to sacrifice their lives, it was described in an inspiring way in the books. So we can take inspiration and courage from their lives. Grandeur means their position, their higher position. These heroes might have got a higher position in heaven because of their courage and sacrifice. So the poems, stories and plays are also considered as beautiful things in the world. Next, nature gives us many beautiful things. According to the poet, it is like an immortal drink pouring unto us from the heaven's brink. Brink means edge or heaven's door. It is immortal because nature never stops giving us beautiful things, and it is of course free. We should learn to admire God's beautiful creations. These beautiful things make our life worth living. So the poet says the transferring power of beauty. Beauty is a magical drink that has the ability to transfer lives, thoughts, and health. So we should learn to appreciate the beautiful things in nature. We should live in a positive way. So we have to face many difficulties and barriers in our life, but the beautiful things in nature will help us to move forward. Okay, let's go to the poetic devices in this poem. First, rhyme scheme. Okay, let's talk about rhyme scheme now. Thing of Beauty is written in rhyming couplets, A, B, B. The poet has used iambic pentameter in this poem, the meter, iambic pentameter. Okay, poetic devices, metaphor. All beautiful things mentioned in the poem are examples of metaphor. Next examples are bower quiet, then sweet dreams, reading a flowery band, then Paul. These are the examples of metaphor. Then we have alliteration. You know what is alliteration? A repetition of consonant sounds. Noble natures, cooling covered, band to bind. Then imagery. Imagery means when we read the words, we are able to we are able to imagine the scenes in our mind. That is examples of imagery: flowery bands, shady boon, clear rills, daffodils in green world, grandeur of domes, cooling covert, endless fountain of immortal drink. Then we have oxymoron. Oxymoron, example of oxymoron is mighty dead. The using of two exact opposite words. That is oxymoron. Then we have personification. Personification means giving human qualities to inanimate objects. That is personification. Example is inhuman death of noble natures. Then another one is symbol. Symbol sheep. Symbol sheep refers to mankind, as Jesus Christ is considered the shepherd who leads human souls out of the dark world of sins and temptations. So he symbolizes symbol sheep. Then another poetic device he used in this poem is transferred epithet. Transferred epithet means it's an adjective, using of an adjective with a different noun. That is transferred epithet. For example, sick room. Sick room means a room for sick person. The word sick is used for person, but it is used with the noun room. So examples from our poem. First one, gloomy day. Day can't be gloomy or happy. It is a person. It is for the person. Gloomy day. Then one more example, unhealthy and over darkened ways. These are the poetic devices used in this poem. So read the poem many times and learn it well. Have a nice day.